Was good ballers? It's Jim's Ballin' back again with the power rankings. Power rankings going into week 12, so let's get it. You know how it goes. In last place at number 32, of course, we gotta put the Jaguars because they got absolutely demolished by the Lions. They're now at 2-9, and man, oh man, Mac Jones is as bad as advertised. I don't think the Patriots are missing Mac Jones at all right now. But yeah, I think with Mac Jones as the quarterback, the Jaguars are the worst team in the league. And I know Trevor Lawrence, he gets a lot of shit. Yeah, maybe he's overpaid. Yeah, maybe he's not as good as expected, not as good as that high draft pick he was. But at the end of the day, he's still a really solid quarterback. And he's been elevating this really bad Jaguars team to being somewhat competitive, to some wins, because with Mac Jones in at quarterback, the Jaguars obviously look like the worst team in the league. But with Trevor Lawrence in at quarterback, the Jaguars don't really look like that worst team in the league. As long as Mac Jones is the quarterback, the Jaguars, they're the worst team. They're now 2-9, and it is looking bad. Mac Jones is so butt. In the 2 starts, he's put up 6 and 7 points. That's it. That's all he can do. Like, compared to Trevor Lawrence, what Trevor Lawrence has been able to do, Mac Jones can't do shit. And honestly, Travis Etienne might be one of the most overrated running backs, at least at the beginning of the season, but man, he can't do anything. He's getting replaced by Tank Bigsby. Just Jaguars are a complete mess. I still think Trevor Lawrence is their guy, but they need a lot of retooling and some better coaching for sure. Now at number 31, we got the Giants, and coming off the bye week, you're not getting spared. You're still being told that you're our ass. You got Tommy DeVito stepping in now. Danny Dimes getting benched, and it's a complete mess for the Giants. And man, I'm glad they're not my team. And it's just crazy how much money Danny Dimes is getting, and now he's getting benched like that. That's tough. Now at number 30, we got the Titans, and they moved up a couple spots. They were originally my worst team in the league, but they're a little competitive. Will Levis is looking a little bit better. They still lost to the Vikings, but I mean, they got some pieces that are looking good on their team. That Westbrook wide receiver they got is looking like real stud, looking really good. So at least they got a couple of things going for them, unlike the Jaguars, who have like absolutely nothing going for them right now. But they're still 2-8, and they're still really, really bad. At number 29, we got the Browns, and they lost to the Saints. They're now sitting at 2-8, and man, with Jameis Winston, he's okay, but I mean, he's still obviously not the guy. Nick Chubb can't really run the ball well. Their offense started clicking a little bit more. I mean, they got a couple of wide receivers throwing the ball too, looking okay. Jerry Jeudy, you know. But man, the defense fell apart. I mean, when you let Taysom Hill run all over you like that, that is disgusting. The Browns are really looking like poop, and that's why they're pretty low on this power rankings. Number 28, we got the Raiders, and they lost to the Dolphins. They're 2-8. I mean, at least Brock Bowers looks really good. I mean, that's pretty much all they got. Number 27, we got the Panthers coming off a bye week. They're 3-7, and I think they're still pretty bad, but I mean, at least they're better than last season. At number 26, we got the Cowboys, and just their team's falling apart, their stadium's falling apart, just everything's falling apart for the Cowboys. It's a complete mess. We lost to the Texans. It was a little competitive, at least for the first half, but then they got absolutely dominated, got shit on. They're now 3-7, and their season's done. It's a wrap. And number 25, we got the Jets, and they lost to the Colts. I thought they'd actually be able to win a game, but nope. They're now 3-8. They have a worse record than the Panthers right now, and just I don't know what's going on. It's a complete mess. They're one of the most disappointing teams of all time, I'd have to say. And I'd want to feel bad for them, but how much hype this Jets team got, and just I think it'll just bring us all together to just point and laugh together at the Jets' failure. I think that'll bring us all together as football fans. At number 24, we got the Patriots, and they lost to the Rams. It was a somewhat competitive, somewhat close game. They're 3-8, but the Patriots are still a pretty competitive team. Drake May is looking like the guy. And while this season is a wrap for the Patriots, I think they can have some hope going into next season, get some better pieces around Drake May, and maybe they can start competing again pretty soon. At number 23, we got the Saints. and they beat up on the Browns. Taysom Hill is apparently that guy. But they're 4-7. They're still a pretty competitive team. I mean, considering how much of a mess the NFC South is, could they make a push to win it? The Falcons keep losing maybe, but the Saints are still an alright team. They still got some guys there. Even if their future's looking pretty bleak for this season, they're still somewhat competitive and not the worst team. And number 22, we got the Colts. And shout out to the Colts, they beat the Jets. And holy crap, if you play your high drafted quarterback, what? You should do that? He actually played well? What? That is crazy. What? The Colts finally did the smart thing, put Anthony Richardson in, and he looked pretty solid. The Colts are now at 5-6. Could they make a push for the playoffs? I mean, if Anthony Richardson is looking really, really good, I think they could, but I still think Richardson still needs some more reps. I think this season is still not the season yet, but I think with some more experience, he cleans things up some more. He could be that guy. But yeah, the Colts are looking okay. Number 21, we got the Bears, and they lost to the Packers on that blocked field goal, and that's tough. They probably should be 6-4 right now. I mean, with that Hail Mary and the blocked field goal, they should have won those games, but they lost. And I mean, at least Caleb Williams looked a little bit better this week. At least there's that. But the Bears team, they're still not there yet. And number 20, we got the Bengals, and they lost another heartbreaker. If the Bengals had an actually good record, Joe Burrow could maybe be the MVP, but the Bengals defense is absolute butt. They lost to the Chargers, and they're now sitting at 4-7, and the season's looking kind of hopeless. They probably need to win out, but I don't think that's going to happen. It'd probably be smart to just lose some more games, get a decent draft pick, and regroup for next season for the Bengals. At number 19, we got the 49ers, the most disappointing team and the team that dropped the most in the power rankings because they lost to the Seahawks at home. I thought this was an easy win for them, but man, they lost, and just all hope is kind of seeming lost for them. The spark they had and just the winning they've been having is just not there. With injuries too, Nick Bosa looks injured, and maybe that's karma for doing that dumbass Trump dance, but the 49ers are now sitting at 5-5, and I just don't have a lot of hope for them anymore. Even with CMC back, it's just I don't think they're looking that good. Just all that energy, all that drive and hope they have, it's just kind of seems sucked out of them right now. At number 18, we got the Seahawks, and they're coming off a win against the 49ers. On paper, the Seahawks seem like they should be really good. They got offensive weapons and a really solid defense, and I think Geno Smith, if he can actually be good, the Seahawks can actually be good. So, I mean, shout out to them. Maybe they can put things together. They're also sitting at 5-5. And next, 17, we got the Rams. That's right. These three NFC West teams, all 5-5. I put them all right next to each other in the power rankings. I pretty much view them all the same. But I put the Rams at the highest because I feel like I have the most hope for them, because when their offense is clicking, they can be a really scary team with Puka and Kupp. And Kyron Williams is quietly one of the best running backs in the league. If their defense can get enough stops, then that gives this offense the opportunity to put up a lot of points and win games. So, and the Rams were able to do that. They beat the Patriots, and they're now at 5-5, and they're holding on for hope that they can maybe make the playoffs. Number 16, we got the Bucs, and they're coming off a bye week, but they're 4-6. The Falcons losing, they still got a chance in their division, so maybe they can win some games. Number 15, we got the Dolphins, and they beat up on the Raiders, and the Raiders are but the Dolphins are looking pretty competitive. Maybe they can make a push for the playoffs, but it's looking tough just with their record right now. But the Dolphins are still a really good and really competitive team. Number 14, we got the Falcons, and they are just butt. They lost to the Broncos, but they still have a 6-5 record. And if I'm the Bucs right now, I'm just pissed off that Kirk Cousins is having this disappointing season. But the two games he decides to go off are against the Bucs. Like, the two games he decides to actually play good are against us. Like, what the hell? But the Falcons are super inconsistent. They got demolished by the Broncos, but they still have a winning record somehow, and maybe they can win their division, but I don't have a lot of faith in them. Number 13, we got the Broncos, and they're kind of looking like a baby version of the Steelers right now. So they got a decent enough offense and an elite defense. And the Broncos beat up on the Falcons. Bo Nix is looking really solid. They're 6-5, and the Broncos are looking pretty good. Number 12, we got the Texans, and they beat the Cowboys in a game they should have won. The Texans still have not really been impressing me too much, but they're 7-4 and probably going to win their division. Number 11, we got the Cardinals coming off a bye week, but still leading their division. They're 6-4, and they've been looking solid. Kyler Murray's been looking good, so shout out to the Cardinals. And number 10, we got the Packers, and they barely beat the Bears. In a game I thought they'd be able to win easily. It was a lot closer than expected, but I mean, it's a division game on the road, so maybe I should have known it'd be closer, but the Packers still win. They're sitting at 7-3, really solid record, but they've been looking really inconsistent. Jordan Love, really inconsistent, so Packers are still really good, and maybe if they can play consistent football, that they could be one of the best teams in the league, but right now they're just I don't have a lot of faith in them. Number 9, we got the Commanders, and they lost to the Eagles, but they're still a really solid team. They're still sitting at 7-4, good record, and overall I still think they're overachieving on the season. It's just unfortunately not their year to win the division yet, because the Eagles are still looking really solid, but maybe next year, maybe with a better team around Jane Daniels, but still solid season. Number 8, we got the Vikings, and they were able to beat the Titans. They're now sitting at 8-2, which is a really good record. If you told me the Vikings would be 8-2 through 10 games, I would not have believed you going into the season, but the Vikings have a really good defense and some offensive weapons, so yeah, they're pretty good. Number 7, we got the Chargers, and I think I'm finally bought into the Chargers. Even after a game that they should have lost, they still ended up winning. They're 7-3, they beat the Bengals. I really expect them to lose this game, but they won it, and they really impressed me. And I think Jim Harbaugh just gives this aura. He just has a winning aura that he's brought to the Chargers that has just made me have faith in them. And I think the Chargers are a really good team. Number 6, we got the Ravens, and they just pooped the bed. They lost to the Steelers. They lost to a team that couldn't score a touchdown, and the Ravens are just kind of shaky, a little up and down. They're 7-4 right now, and they're still a really good team, but they're just not super consistent in my opinion. Number 5, we got the Steelers, and man, they are actually looking like Super Bowl contenders somehow. And with their ugly brand of football, I don't want to be watching field goals the whole game. I want to see touchdowns, okay? But with their ugly brand of football, they're still winning games. They got an elite defense, and they're somehow 8-2, which is ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of the Steelers, but I'll admit that they're pretty good. And number 4, we got the Eagles, and they're able to beat the Commanders. And just with all the talk, all the hype the Commanders have been getting this entire season, it's been Jane Daniels, Commanders, Jane Daniels, Commanders. The Eagles are quietly 8-2 and easily in the lead in their division. They're looking like a really solid team right now. And yeah, that's why I have the Eagles at number 4. The Eagles are just reminding everyone that, hey, we've been to a Super Bowl recently. We're still a really good team. So yeah. And down to number 3, it's the Chiefs. They finally lost a game. They lost to the Bills, but they're still 9-1. And it really only matters when you make it to the playoffs, let's be honest. But yeah, they lost. So that means at number 2, it's the Bills. Shout out to the Bills. They were able to knock off the Chiefs, finally give them a loss. And the Bills are looking really solid. They're sitting at 9-2, and Josh Allen's looking like the front runner for MVP, I'd say. But can the Bills beat the Chiefs in the playoffs when it really matters? Probably not, but I mean, it's a good win, and you're number 2 in the power ranking, so shout out to the Bills. So that means easily at number 1, it's the Lions. And now that the Chiefs finally lost, I think it's pretty much easily a consensus pick that the Lions are the best team in the NFL, the highest point differential, been on this long winning streak, been just beating up on teams. They're now at 9-1, and they're just looking like the most complete team. They're looking like the best team in the league. And yeah, the Lions, I'm really impressed with them. I'm proud of my Lions. But yeah, this has been the Power Rankings. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the video. I'd be making football videos if you want to see more. But yeah, this has been Jim's Ballin', and I'll see you next time. Peace.